Marked by a tyrant after transmigrating. Chapter 34. Yu Yan was indeed a prince of Great Yan. When he heard the cold voice behind him, his expression only froze for a moment. Then, he calmly turned around and greeted the person, "Your Majesty." Jin Wang slowly walked over and asked, "What are you talking about?" Yu Yan's expression did not change. This one just felt that the imperial consort resembled an old friend, so this prince couldn't help but chat for a bit. Old friend. Jin Wang narrowed his eyes slightly and looked at Yeshu, who was sitting on the imperial sedan, with a questioning gaze. "I don't know him," Yeshu said firmly. "He mistook me for someone else." Yu Yan. Yu Yan's gaze swept back and forth between the two of them. He sighed. "All right, then this prince take it that this one has mistaken you for someone else. This prince will take leave first." After he finished speaking, he looked at Yeshu with a regretful expression. "Yeshu." Yu Yan turned around and left. Jin Wang retracted his gaze and looked at Yeshu once again. Yeshu forced a smile at him. Were these emperors born in the year of the dog? They were messing with him from the first time they met. The imperial sedan slowly drove towards the sleeping quarters. Yeshu was held in Jin Wang's arms and lowered his head guiltily. His premonition was right. The second prince of Great Yan was indeed up to no good by coming here. In the novel, Yu Yan had no contact with the original owner of the body. But today, Yu Yan had mentioned the original owner's alias in front of him, proving that they had communicated with each other before. Did the original owner collude with Yu Yan for the sake of rebellion? If that was the case, then the purpose of this person coming to Changlu. Yeshu tried hard to recall, but he could not remember any details of the original's contact with Yu Yan. His thoughts were in a mess and he did not notice when Jin Wang's hand had raised and dangerously touched his earlobe. "What are you thinking about?" Jin Wang asked. Yeshu suddenly came back to his senses. He looked up and met Jin Wang's gaze. Then, he hurriedly looked away. "No, it's nothing." Jin Wang played with Yeshu's earlobe, his fingertips sweeping the small mole behind his ear from time to time. His tone was calm. "Yu Yan said that you look like an old friend of his." Yeshu said. "He got the wrong person." Jin Wang snorted in a low voice, but his voice was still calm. "Since my beloved consort has never met him before, then the one who knows him, could it be Minister yet?" Yeshu's heart thumped. Jin Wang was terrifyingly astute in this matter. Yeshu pretended to be calm. I don't know him." "Of course, Minister Ye doesn't know him either." His expression did not change, but in his heart, he was already cursing Great Yan's second prince half to death. Yu Yan, that bastard. He had finally managed to coax Jin Wang to not pursue the matter of the assassination attempt. Now that he was adding to the chaos, this person was going to go crazy again. Sure enough, these words were unable to convince Jin Wang. However, he did not ask anything else. He just casually massaged the back of Yeshu's neck. Yeshu was like a cat that had its weak spot pinched. He curled up in Jin Wang's arms, not daring to move an inch. Soon, Yeshu could no longer stand it. He pleaded carefully, "Your Majesty." Jin Wang sighed and lifted Yeshu's chin, forcing him to look straight into his eyes. "Ashu, I don't like it when you lie." Jin Wang had drunk quite a bit of wine at the state banquet tonight. His eyes were not as clear as they were earlier. Yeshu could even smell the faint scent of alcohol on his body. Yeshu felt very wronged. He really did not want to lie, but he really did not know why the original owner of this body would be communicating with Yu Yan. After transmigrating, he had lost his memories. What could he do? The two of them looked at each other silently. The atmosphere in the imperial sedan was somewhat tense. They had arrived at the sleeping quarters. The eunuchs lifted the curtains and wanted to help the two of them down. Yeshu was already feeling uncomfortable. He stood up and wanted to leave, but was stopped by Jin Wang. Jin Wang picked him up and jumped off the imperial carriage, striding towards the sleeping quarters. The eunuchs assessed the situation, but none of them dared to follow him into the sleeping quarters. Jin Wang placed him on the dragon bed and then pressed his body down on top of him. Yang's in-palace hall was brightly lit. Jin Wang looked down at Yeshu from above. This person rarely wore black clothes in front of Jin Wang. The dark red collar made his skin look extremely fair. The black outer robe was tight at the waist, outlining his petite figure. "This is your last chance," Jin Wang said gently. Yeshu tilted his head to the side and insisted. "I don't know him." Jin Wang lifted Yeshu's belt. Yeshu closed his eyes and began to tremble slightly, but he did not resist. His Majesty had always been sensitive and easily angered. Since he had provoked this person, he was afraid that he would not have an easy time tonight. He could only count himself unlucky. That damned Yu Yan. His complicated court attire was slowly removed. Yeshu did not know how this person was going to torment him. He was so nervous that his lips were tightly pursed. However, Jin Wang did not make any further movements. After a while, Jin Wang straightened up. The pressure on Yeshu disappeared. Yeshu raised his head and saw the latter casually hang the court robe he had taken off from him to the side. Then, he lowered his head and lightly kissed Yeshu's cheek. "Rest early. This emperor is going to take a bath." Without waiting for Yeshu to say anything, Jin Wang turned and left the bedchamber. Before he left, he did not forget to extinguish the candles in the hall. Yeshu got easily disturbed by light when he slept. In the bathtub, warm water sprayed out from above. Jin Wang leaned against the white jade wall and closed his eyes to rest. After the eunuch finished reporting, Jin Wang opened his eyes. "That's all they said?" "Yes." The eunuch knelt beside the bathtub and replied in a low voice. "You may leave." The eunuch left the bathtub. Jin Wang laughed mockingly. From the way Yu Yan looked at Yeshu during the banquet, to the short exchange between the two outside Taiji Palace, he felt that there must be some kind of connection between the two. Now, he was even more certain. Qi Xian. This was also the name Yeshu had written in the secret letters he had sent to West Xia. What was that man up to now? Did he want to assassinate him again? Actually, it was not difficult for Jin Wang to find out the truth. He understood Yeshu too well. He knew what to do to make him feel the most unbearable, and he knew how to force him to tell the truth. But whenever he saw Yeshu trembling in fear, he could not bear to do it. It was the same every time. That person did not say a single word, but he was the first to soften. He wanted to treat him well. By the time Jin Wang returned to his sleeping quarters, there was no sound in the hall. A sliver of moonlight shone through the window and onto the ground, reflecting the silhouette of the youth lying peacefully on the bed. Jin Wang lay on the bed and subconsciously wanted to pull him into his embrace. The next moment, a hard object was pressed against Jin Wang's chest. Jin Wang instinctively sensed danger. He looked up and saw Yeshu's bright and clear eyes without the slightest hint of tiredness. "Don't move." Yeshu raised his hand and pushed the object in his hand forward. With the help of the silhouette of the light, Jin Wang could see that it was a dagger. Jin Wang's eyes flashed with a trace of gloominess. He really wanted to kill him. "You won't be able to dodge in time." Yeshu held Jin Wang's shoulder with one hand, but his tone was surprisingly relaxed. "If you had directly stabbed me, I'm afraid I really wouldn't have been able to dodge." Jin Wang's heart sank bit by bit and he smiled coldly. "You shouldn't have given me time to react." Yeshu suddenly understood. "So, that's how it is." Yeshu did not know martial arts. If he had directly attacked, Jin Wang might have been caught off guard and he might have succeeded. But that was impossible now. As long as Jin Wang wanted to, he could break this person's wrist at any time before the dagger stabbed him. Yeshu had no way to resist. The two of them were in a deadlock in silence. After a while, Yeshu suddenly let go of his hand and casually threw the object in his hand off the bed. That object just happened to roll under the moonlight, and Jin Wang finally saw that it was only a scabbard. What was the meaning of this? Jin Wang vaguely understood something and turned his head to ask. Yeshu suddenly hooked his arm around his neck and leaned closer. I wanted to tell you that if I really wanted to kill you, I wouldn't have needed to ask for help from a foreign prince. They were very intimate and hugged each other to sleep every night. If Yeshu really wanted to kill Jin Wang, he had countless ways to secretly kill him. There was no need for him to travel thousands of miles to find a foreign prince to come to the capital to assassinate him. Jin Wang's expression did not soften. Even if you can kill me, you won't be able to escape from the imperial capital without outside help. That made sense. You emperors always think too much. Yeshu sighed and decided that he could not beat around the bush with this person. He raised his head and kissed Jin Wang's lips, and his voice softened. I really didn't want to betray you. Can you trust me just this once? Then you Yan. Yeshu was dissatisfied. Can you stop talking about him? I'm coaxing you. I'm coaxing you. These words struck Jin Wang's heart without any warning, leaving a lingering echo in his mind. Jin Wang opened his mouth, but no words came out. Yeshu looked into his eyes and said seriously, you used to ask me what it would take for me to believe you. I also want to ask you what it would take for you to believe me. Jin Wang, I don't want us to continue suspecting each other. It's very tiring. You have secrets that you're hiding from me, and I have things that I can't tell you for the time being. But I've never wanted to hurt you. He knew what Jin Wang was afraid of. Colluding with foreign enemies was the bottom line in Jin Wang's heart. This person did not pursue the previous assassination, but that did not mean that he did not care about his betrayal. On the contrary, he cared a lot about it. But even so, he did not hurt him. He gave Yeshu all his gentleness, tolerance, and compromise. Yeshu understood. So today, he wanted to give him something in return. Yeshu leaned forward and kissed him again, his hand slowly sliding down. Jin Wang's breath caught and he grabbed his hand. Don't. I already knew that it's useless to say so much to you. It's better to do something practical. Yeshu knelt in front of Jin Wang and smiled at him. His eyes were clear and bright. This time, it's voluntary. The moonlight was like water, and the layers of gauze covered the ambiguous sounds. After a long time, Yeshu lay in Jin Wang's arms, exhausted. He said angrily, if you take so long again, you'll have to settle it yourself. Jin Wang. Could he be blamed for this? Jin Wang pulled him into his arms and gently kissed his hair. Yeshu whispered, you're not angry anymore, right? Jin Wang didn't answer. Yeshu looked up and glared at him. I've already coaxed you like this. You're not still angry, are you? I'm not angry. Jin Wang pulled him closer and sighed. I really don't know what to do with you. From the moment Yeshu kissed him, Jin Wang couldn't get angry anymore. His Majesty was just that principled. The person in his arms gradually calmed down. Jin Wang suddenly asked, you're coaxing me because you're worried that I'll get angry and torment you again. Yes. Yeshu leaned into his arms drowsily and said tiredly, you're so petty. If you keep getting angry, won't I be the one to suffer? Jin Wang chuckled. Just as he was about to answer, Yeshu said, but there's also another reason. What reason? Yeshu rubbed against Jin Wang's arms like a little animal. He found a comfortable position and closed his eyes in satisfaction. I don't want to see you unhappy. I don't want to see you unhappy. So I'm willing to coax you. It's that simple. End chapter. Marked by a tyrant after transmigrating. Chapter 35. Ever since Yeshu had appeared at the state banquet, the entire court had been discussing this matter for several days. The imperial concubine and the dead minister Ye looked exactly the same. The meaning behind this was very subtle. Thinking about it carefully, the emperor had announced that he would be marrying an imperial consort around the time that Minister Ye was sentenced to death. There was no coincidence between these two events. There were many differing opinions, but what surprised Yeshu even more was that no one suspected that the imperial consort was the real Minister Ye. Occasionally, there would be one or two voices that said this, but they were quickly rejected by everyone else. Jin Wang did not find this strange. To this, he said, "Do you think that coming back from the dead or me deceiving the world and protecting the life of a traitor who plotted against the emperor? Which do you think they would believe more?" No one dared to believe it. There was no such thing as the art of reviving from the death, so the idea of coming back from the dead was extremely absurd. As for the latter, wouldn't they suspect that the emperor was lying? Who would have the guts to do that? Of course, it was more likely that the officials would rather die than believe that the imperial consort who was so affectionate and respectful to the emperor at the state banquet that day was the same Prime Minister Ye, who had great power in the capital and was at odds with the emperor for many years. If this had happened 2 months ago, Jin Wang would not have believed it either. "It seems that I am destined to be a substitute." After hearing Jin Wang's analysis, Yeshu sighed. Jin Wang held his hand as they walked through the snow and said with a smile, "If you want to restore your identity, I have a way." Jin Wang listened to the many speculations in the court. He did not stop them or explain. He was waiting for Yeshu's decision. No matter what he wanted, Jin Wang had a way to achieve it. "I think it's better not." Yeshu shook his head. "The current situation is quite good." After restoring his identity, the things that the original owner had done could not be explained. It was better to be like this. It was much more relaxed. "It's all up to you." Jin Wang paused, then sighed, and said, "I originally wanted the officials to see my future empress, but because of someone's interference, no one cares." Chang Lu cared a lot about etiquette, but that day, the imperial consort had worn the emperor's empress attire and attended the state banquet with the emperor's empress attire. Jin Wang even suspected that they had not noticed what Yeshu had worn that day. The emperor could not help but feel a bit regretful that his desire to show off had not been satisfied. Yeshu saw through his thoughts. He raised his head and leaned close to Jin Wang's ear and whispered, "Why care about other people's opinions? Is it not enough that I wore it for you?" He hit the target with one strike. Jin Wang seemed to have thought of something, and his ears quickly turned red. His Majesty was unexpectedly pure in some ways. Yeshu ran away after flirting with him. He smiled happily and continued walking forward. The two of them walked to the pavilion. Jin Wang asked, "Are you tired? Why don't we go in and rest?" Yeshu responded, and Jin Wang led him into the pavilion. The servants quickly came forward and laid a soft cushion on the stone bench. Bamboo curtains were hung around the pavilion to keep the wind out. Then, a charcoal brazier and some tea and snacks were placed. There was also a cup of hot soup simmering over a slow fire. It was said that the imperial physician had specially prepared a nourishing soup that was beneficial to Yeshu's body. Jin Wang pulled Yeshu to sit down. Yeshu asked, "Your Majesty, why do you have time to accompany me for so long today? Why don't you go and deal with other matters?" Jin Wang placed a bowl of soup in front of him and said calmly, "I left the matter to the director of Hanzhu. The great Yan had come to Changlu to negotiate a truce. The details of the terms could not be negotiated in a day or two. The emperor did not need to personally participate in the details. Jin Wang and the director of Hanzhu had already discussed the terms of Changlu's request before the envoy arrived. Thus, after the envoy arrived, Jin Wang was free. Yeshu made an O sound and stirred the spoon in his mouth without saying anything else. Jin Wang had been keeping a close eye on him these past few days, so Yeshu did not have the chance to do anything else, such as going to the pavilion and ask Yu Yan what the original owner had communicated with him about, and why he had come to Changlu. At this time, snow began to fall from the sky. The wind and snow were blocked outside by the bamboo curtains, and the pavilion was comfortably warm from the charcoal brazier, so it did not feel cold at all. Yeshu slowly drank a few mouthfuls of soup. Then, the voice of a servant sounded from outside the pavilion. "Your Majesty and the Imperial Consort are here. Do not come any nearer." "So it is your Majesty and Imperial Consort. This one is Yu Yan. This prince is here to visit the garden. May I come in to take shelter from the snow?" Yeshu was stunned. Why did this person kept asking for trouble? It was not easy for him to coax Jinwang into not being angry, but that did not mean that he did not hold any grudges against Yu Yan. With Jinwang's temper, it was already a great blessing that he did not find a reason to kill him without anyone knowing. Now, this person actually dared to disturb them when they were alone. Did he want to die too slowly? If he continued to court death like this, forget about going back to take revenge, he might not even be able to leave Changlu. Yeshu silently criticized in his heart. Jinwang's expression did not change. He tilted his head and looked at Yeshu. "Does my beloved consort want him? Let him in." It was the question of death again. Yeshu put down the bowl of soup and said with a serious expression, "We will listen to your Majesty." Jinwang chuckled and allowed the servant to let him in. Yu Yan was an envoy from Great Yan and a prince from another kingdom. They could not let him stand outside in the snow. This was not appropriate. The bamboo curtains were pulled open by the servant, and Yu Yan walked in with a personal guard dressed in black. The guard was tall and slender and his eyes were light in color. His facial features were deep and handsome, and there was an exotic hint in his features. Even Yeshu could not help but take a few more glances at him. Jinwang cleared his throat. Yeshu quickly retracted his gaze and sat upright. Yu Yan bowed to the two of them and said gently, "I was just enjoying the scenery in the garden when it suddenly started snowing. I hope I did not disturb the two of you." Jinwang snorted and ignored him. The servant closed the bamboo curtains and left the pavilion. Yu Yan did not stand on ceremony and sat down directly opposite the two of them. The atmosphere in the pavilion became stagnant. Jinwang seemed to be unaware of this. He tilted his head and said to Yeshu, "Drink it quickly. It will get cold soon." Yeshu said with a bitter face, "I can't drink it anymore." It was not that he could not drink it. It was just that there were some medicinal ingredients in the soup, so it tasted bitter. Yeshu did not like it. Jinwang coaxed him gently, "Be good. The imperial physician said that your body is weak, so you must drink a bowl every day after eating. After drinking it, you can eat pastries. It would negate the bitter taste." "But... or do you want me to feed you?" Jinwang leaned closer and whispered, "I can use my mouth, too." Yu Yan. Was he invisible? Yeshu obviously did not dare to let Jinwang feed him. He gritted his teeth and finished the medicinal soup in 2 or 3 mouthfuls. Jinwang poured some water for him to rinse his mouth, then picked up a piece of soft sugar cake from the bowl and fed it to him. Yu Yan's teeth ached as he watched. After feeding Yeshu 2 pieces of cake, Jinwang leisurely said, "I have already ordered the servants to withdraw." Yeshu. Yeshu finally noticed that the servants outside the pavilion had unknowingly retreated to several zhang away. The snowflakes in the sky formed a natural barrier outside the pavilion. If they spoke here, no one would be able to hear them. Yu Yan smiled faintly, "I thought that your Majesty had already forgotten about my existence." Jinwang ignored him and tilted his head to ask Yeshu, "What else do you want to eat?" Yu Yan ground his teeth and coldly said, "This is my personal guard. He is trustworthy." Jinwang responded nonchalantly. Yeshu finally regained his senses. "Did you arrange to meet here?" Jinwang said, "It was me who sent a message to the second prince to come. Let's get straight to the point." Yu Yan looked at Yeshu and said, "You are minister yet. Although we have never formally met, I have seen your portrait." Yeshu did not reply. Actually, from the first time they met, he felt that Yu Yan's attitude towards the original owner was very strange. Privately contacting an important official of the imperial court was a serious crime. Yu Yan should not be so undisguised and directly show that they knew each other in front of Jin Wang. If the original owner was really collaborating with him to rebel, then his actions were even more stupid. Yu Yan should not be such a stupid person. Unless. Without waiting for Yeshu to understand the situation, Jin Wang spoke first. I'm afraid it is not appropriate for second prince to speak to my imperial concubine like this in front of me. Why don't second prince state your intentions first? Yu Yan's gaze swept back and forth between the two of them, then he nodded, all right. He took out a secret piece of parcel from his bosom and pushed it in front of Jin Wang. This is a map of the Great Yan's border defenses. Consider it a gift from me to His Majesty. Jin Wang's eyes narrowed slightly. Yu Yan spread out his hands and said, this one is so sincere. Minister Ye and His Majesty should be assured of me, right? Jin Wang opened the secret parcel and roughly skimmed through it, then asked, what does second prince mean by this? You have not informed His Majesty of this matter. Yu Yan looked at Yeshu and met his innocent gaze. He was silent for a moment, no wonder. Yu Yan explained, I have been secretly contacting Minister Ye for several years. 3 years ago, Minister Ye sent me a letter, telling me to keep a low profile and bide my time. He told me that the Great Yan would send an envoy to Changlu in the future. Minister Ye promised that as long as I could find a way to come to the capital as an envoy and cooperate with His Majesty would help me take revenge and ascend to the throne. I just did not expect. Yu Yan coughed lightly, I did not expect that before this one arrived in Changlu, Minister Ye would give up his position as Prime Minister and become an imperial concubine. After he finished speaking, he gave the two of them a look that said, I don't understand the relationship between the two of you. Yu Yan's words were understated, but Yeshu was greatly shocked. The original owner of the body contacted Yu Yan not to rebel but to persuade Yu Yan to cooperate with Jin Wang. Jin Wang might not immediately understand the intention, but in the future, Yu Yan would be of great help to Jin Wang in conquering the Great Yan. The original owner of the body contacted Yu Yan several years ago. At that time, Jin Wang had not even ascended to the throne, and Yu Yan was still an unremarkable prince in the Great Yan imperial palace. How could he predict that the Great Yan would send an envoy to Changlu, and how could he predict that Yu Yan would be of help to Jin Wang? Yuan will be the emperor in the future. As a ruler, you have to be strong in order to make the country strong. The position of left prime minister is empty. Is His Majesty willing to give it to him? I have to help His Majesty unify the world. The original owner of the body's words were still vivid in his mind. Yeshu suddenly had a strange feeling in his heart. He felt that it was as if the original owner of the body could predict the future. Or it could be said that he learned about the future of this world from somewhere. It was like, he had read the original novel. But if that was the case, why would the original owner of the body, who had helped to pave the way for Jin Wang 3 years ago, plan to assassinate him later on? What had happened in the past 3 years? Yeshu's thoughts were in a mess, and he could not figure out what was going on. Jin Wang and Yu Yan was talking about something, but he did not hear a single word. Yu Yan quickly left the pavilion with his personal guard, leaving only Yeshu and Jin Wang in the pavilion. Jin Wang followed Yeshu's arm down and held his cold fingers. He asked in a gentle voice, is this the secret that you have been hiding from me? End chapter. Marked by a tyrant after transmigrating. Chapter 36. The youth beside him had a pale face. His eyes were downcast, and he didn't answer. Jin Wang looked at him and didn't urge him to speak. He had his own ways to verify the authenticity of this defensive map. This way, he would be able to prove whether Yu Yan was telling the truth. But he wanted to hear Yeshu's explanation more. Yeshu's actions seemed bold and dangerous to him. He had been in contact with a foreign prince for a long time, and if he wasn't careful, he could be killed. But he could also see that this matter was beneficial to him. Yeshu hadn't betrayed him, at least not in this matter. Jin Wang silently sighed, then patiently asked, "You can't say." Yeshu didn't answer. He didn't know how to explain. Persuading Yu Yan to surrender wasn't a bad thing. In fact, it was a great achievement. Of course, he could directly admit that he was the one who did it, but he couldn't explain why the original owner betrayed him in the end. Yeshu hesitated for a long time, then slowly said, "I can't say for the time being." Jin Wang asked, "When can you say it?" In any case, not now." Yeshu's fingers unconsciously tightened around his sleeves. He almost didn't dare to look at Jin Wang's expression. "Your Majesty, please give me some more time. When the time is right, I will tell your Majesty." Jin Wang was silent for a moment, then said, "Fine, I believe you." Yeshu looked up. The latter's eyes were gentle and didn't seem to blame him. He used his finger to brush away a piece of candy from the corner of Yeshu's mouth, then said softly, "No matter what, I'm very happy. You're not trying to harm me. I'm very happy." Yeshu's heart trembled slightly. He suddenly felt somewhat moved. This person was still so easy to satisfy. But Jin Wang's tone suddenly changed, and his eyes narrowed slightly. "You've been in contact with him for many years." "Yeshu." Jin Wang muttered, "You've been in contact with him since before I ascended the throne." "Yeshu." "Jin Wang, you've even agreed to meet in Changlu. Is this person done yet?" Yeshu coughed softly and looked away. I am tired. Let's go back." Jin Wang smiled. "All right." Jin Wang called for the eunuchs to bring the imperial sedan over. Yeshu was about to get up when Jin Wang pulled him back. Jin Wang bent down with his back facing him. "Come up." Yeshu was slightly taken aback. Jin Wang turned to look at him and urged, "Hurry up." Jin Wang carried Yeshu out of the pavilion. Yeshu leaned his head on Jin Wang's shoulder and tilted his head to look at the side of Jin Wang's face. "Why is your Majesty treating me so well today? Didn't I treat you well in the past?" Jin Wang seemed to be in a good mood and chuckled. "You've helped me so much, so you should be rewarded." The smile on Yeshu's face faded. In fact, today was only to confirm that Yeshu had not colluded with Yu Yan. As for whether Yu Yan's surrender was real or not, it had yet to be confirmed. How could this person be so happy? This emperor was not only a dog, but also a little foolish. Yeshu's heart ached and softened. He buried his head in Jin Wang's shoulder and rubbed it gently. "I'll treat you better in the future. He might betray you, but I won't. Never will." The Great Yan's envoy negotiated with the director of Hanzhou for 3 full days before they finally settled on the terms of the negotiation. On the last day, Jin Wang had to attend. Yeshu helped Jin Wang fasten the jade buttons on his court robes. Jin Wang lowered his head to look at him and chuckled. "Not here. Button it up from the left." "Why are you so clumsy?" Yeshu glared at him. "Do it yourself then." Jin Wang immediately stopped smiling. "You do it?" It was a rare day that Yeshu woke up early. Jin Wang accompanied Yeshu for breakfast, then slowly began to change his clothes. In the past, when Jin Wang went out, Yeshu was still sleeping. Today, he had a rare opportunity to make Yeshu learn how to dress for him. He said that it was only right that the concubines should know how to do this. The emperor's court robes were complicated. Yeshu spent twice the amount of time to help him put them on. Jin Wang lowered his head to tidy up his ornaments. When he looked up, he saw that Yeshu had already taken the opportunity to collapse on the bed. He smiled and shook his head. "You're getting lazier." Yeshu sank into the soft bed. He half raised his eyelids and looked at him. "It's all your fault, you bastard." Yeshu said, "Your Majesty, please set off quickly. I'm worried that you'll be late at this rate." "I'm going now." Jin Wang leaned forward and kissed him on the forehead. Sleep for a while if you're tired. If everything goes well, I'll be back soon. Yeshu nodded obediently. Jin Wang quickly left the bedchamber. As soon as Jin Wang left, Yeshu climbed up from the bed and followed him out of the bedchamber. Recently, Jin Wang no longer restricted Yeshu's movements within the palace. However, it has to be with a few palace maids following him in the open and a dozen or so shadow guards secretly protecting him. Yeshu had no chance to run around even if he wanted to. Yeshu wasn't afraid of being followed. He led them in a certain direction. No one dared to question him and followed him. When they were further away from the bedchamber, one of the palace maids couldn't help but say, "Young master, we'll reach the Tong courtyard if we go any further." "I know." Yeshu didn't stop walking. He said casually, "The Tong courtyard is where the Great Yan's envoys is staying. Can't I go there to visit a friend?" "This." Yeshu smiled. "Don't worry. I have a good personal relationship with the Great Yan's second prince. If His Majesty knows about this, he won't blame me." The palace maid replied, "Of course, young master." Yeshu arrived at the Tong courtyard. The Great Yan's envoys had gone to discuss matters with Jin Wang today. Only a few guards were left inside and outside the Tong courtyard. After Yeshu ordered someone to report his arrival, he was quickly led in by a guard. It was the personal guard who followed Yu Yan the other day. When Yu Yan saw Yeshu, he was surprised. "Why is Minister Ye here today?" Yeshu looked at the guard beside him. Yu Yan understood. "Yungui, you can leave first." The guard frowned. "Master." "It's fine." Yu Yan interrupted. "I'll have a chat with Minister Ye." "Yes." After the guard left, Yu Yan poured a cup of tea for Yeshu. He said slowly, "Minister Ye, didn't you pretend not to know me earlier? Why are you here today?" Yeshu coughed lightly. "In front of His Majesty, I naturally have to be cautious." "Yes, so cautious that you don't even dare to recognize an old friend." Yu Yan tapped the table with his fingertips. "You forget your friends when you see a beauty." Yeshu was silent. Why did his tone sound a little bitter? Was the original owner of this body very close to Yu Yan? Yeshu pondered for a moment. "There have been some changes recently. I didn't want it to be like this. I heard about it when I was in Great Yan." Yu Yan's expression changed slightly. He nodded. "How did you and Jin Wang end up like this? If I didn't know that there was something going on between the two of you, I would have thought that the two of you would fight to the death. Also, the letter you sent me earlier." Yeshu's eyes flickered. "When did I send you the letter?" Yu Yan didn't doubt Yeshu. He replied, "The letter reached me 3 months ago. You said that you wouldn't send me any more letters in the future. If necessary, I would pretend not to know you." He paused for a moment and said with disdain, "It looks like a suicide note." Yeshu didn't answer. If it was 3 months ago, that letter might really have been a suicide note. Because according to the plot, the original owner of this body should have died 2 months ago. Yeshu asked, "Is the letter still with you?" "I burned it a long time ago." Yu Yan frowned. "Yeshu, do you take me for a fool? You and I belong to 2 different countries. Why would I keep the letter? Am I afraid that someone wants to harm me and can't find any evidence?" These words weren't wrong. Even if the contents of the letter between Yu Yan and the original owner of this body weren't confidential, he should have burned it after reading it. Keeping it by his side would instead left something that could be used against him. But 2 months ago, the original owner of this body and Western Xia's secret letters had all been found by Jin Wang. Was it just that the original owner had left them out? Yu Yan didn't know what Yeshu was thinking. He sighed. "I know that it wasn't easy for you to be the Prime Minister of Changlu. I didn't dare to write to you much these 3 years. So when I received your letter 3 months ago, I was really worried. Later, I heard that the Emperor of Changlu had executed Minister Ye. I almost thought. He rubbed his nose and muttered in a small voice. I thought you were really dead. It wasn't until the state banquet that Yu Yan saw Yeshu arrive that he truly believed that he was fine. Moreover, he never doubted that the two of them were similar in appearance. Others might not dare to make wild guesses about him faking his death to change his identity, but with Yu Yan's understanding of Yeshu and the relationship between the two, it wasn't strange for him to do such a thing. Only the Emperor of Changlu knew how to play. No matter what, it's fine as long as you're fine. Yu Yan paused and said half-jokingly, that's right, why didn't Jin Wang know about us contacting each other? I'll say the ugly words first. If you dare change your mind at the last minute, don't blame me for having a falling out with you. Yeshu forced a smile. I'm not that kind of person. Don't worry, I'll definitely do what I promised you. It's good to hear it with your own words. Yeshu asked Yu Yan a few more questions about the original owner of this body, but he didn't get much out of it. However, the information he received today was enough. The two of them chatted for a while longer. Yeshu estimated the time and felt that it was about time for Jin Wang to return to his quarters. He prepared to leave. Second Prince, rest well. I'll go back first. Yu Yan nodded. That's good too. The diplomatic mission will return to the Great Yan in 2 days. Let's have a small gathering before we leave. Yeshu agreed. When he got up, his legs went soft and he barely managed to stand up by holding onto the edge of the table. Why are you? Yu Yan subconsciously went to support him. Yeshu said, don't touch me. He didn't notice it earlier, but now he felt his body go soft and unusually hot. Yeshu instinctively felt that something was wrong and turned his head to look at the incense burner by the table. Green smoke rose from the incense burner and a faint sandalwood fragrance spread throughout the room. Yeshu asked, what is this? Yu Yan paused for a moment and didn't dare to look him in the eye. Incense. Yeshu narrowed his eyes and looked at him coldly. Yu Yan felt guilty under his gaze and said vaguely, it's pheromone-suppressing incense. Yeshu didn't hear him clearly. What did you say? It's pheromone-suppressing incense. Yu Yan's ears turned red and he said angrily, didn't you already guess it? Why are you still asking? Yeshu frowned. He had been cramming his knowledge on omegas and alphas for the past month and could roughly guess the use of the incense just by hearing the name. It was probably the same as the pill that Jin Wang had given him. Yeshu's thoughts were in a mess and he forced himself to remain calm. Why did you light pheromone-suppressing incense in the room? Are you an Omega? The dignified second prince of the Great Yan dynasty, the one who would ascend the throne in the future, was actually an Omega? Yu Yan lowered his voice. SHH. Be careful not to be heard by others. He sat down by the table and sighed. How could I have known that I would become an Omega? If others knew, wouldn't I have no chance of inheriting the throne? The doctor said that if I wanted to hide it, I have to use pheromone-suppressing incense every day. I heard that some Omega are extremely sensitive to the smell. So you are the same. Is it very uncomfortable? Should I get someone to send you back? Don't. Yeshu avoided Yu Yan's hand. His limbs were so weak that he could barely stand. If it wasn't an Omega, what would happen if they smelled it? Not an Omega. Yu Yan looked at Yeshu from head to toe and said in shock, so you are also. Yeshu, hurry up and tell me. Yu Yan said, this incense is harmless to most people and doesn't harm anyone who smells it. Naturally, it can suppress pheromones. Oh, unless you're pregnant. Yu Yan's voice suddenly paused. Yu Yan met Yeshu's gaze and his face went blank. You're pregnant. Yeshu's body became hotter and hotter. Heat surged through his body and a thin layer of sweat appeared on his forehead. He took a deep breath and gritted his teeth. If I'm pregnant, what would happen? End chapter.